Hi everyone, you welcome back to the channel. How you doing? On today's video, we'll be sewing this trendy baggy trouser, also known as jumbo trouser. I made use of 2 yards and 12 inches of Adire fabric. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video with your soul friends. So guys, let's jump right into it. So to cut out this baggy trouser, you will divide your hip by 4 plus 8 inches. So the hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5 plus 8 will give me 18 inches. So here I have 18 inches. So now after doing that, now the next we have to do is to get from the waist down to the hip. Now it will have band. You're adding 2 inches for the band. You minus that away. Now put down for my waist to hip is 9 inches. Waist to hip 9 inches. After getting that, now to get your crotch extension, you divide your hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. Then I'll add 2 inches to this 9.5. Now we have 11.5. So don't forget to minus your band allowance, which is 2 inches. You can see I left it 2 inches upward. Here, 2 inches for my band. Then I drop 9 inches for the hip. To get your crouch depth, you divide your hip by 4 plus 2. The hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5 plus 2 inches will give me 11.5. So this is my crouch depth. Now the next we have to do is to divide the hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. This is my waist. I'll put down 9.5. This is 9.5 for the hip. Then we add 4 inches for ease. You know we are going to be putting elastic on the waist, on the band. So now I have 13.5 inches for my width. The wideness of the waist is 13.5. So now we'll just mark for the crouch extension here. I'll mark 13.5. So now connect with a straight line. So now after doing this, now the next you have to do is to get your crouch extension. To get your front crouch extension, you divide your hip by 20. So the hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 20 will give me 1.9. So I'll approximate this to 2 inches. On this crouch line here, this straight line we have here, I'll come out by 2 inches. So now I'll use my French curve to get my crouch like this. And if you don't have a French curve, you can just come out by 1 inches. Then you connect. You can see this is it. So now we'll check what I have on my crouch depth. I have, let's say I have here 16 inches. I will mark this with a straight line down to the hem of my trouser. I'm through with the connecting of the lines down to the hem of the trouser. You can see I started connecting from my crouch here. I check what I have for the width of the crouch here, which is 16 inches. I don't know if you can see this here, which is 16 inches here. I have 16 inches here. Then I bring it down here also. You just connect with a straight line down to the hem of the trouser. Now after connecting these lines, the next I have to do now is to cut out from the waist down to the hem. I'm through with the cutting of the front. The next you have to do is to slit the side of your front this way. I'll slit it to the hem on a straight line like this. I'm through with the slitting of the front, and I've placed my front trouser on another fabric. Here I fold into 2 places. This is for the back. And what I did is that for my back here, I came in by 1 inches. This is for the seam allowance for the side of the trouser. This is the seam allowance. Now let's work on the crouch area. So for your back crouch, you divide your hip by 10. So the hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 10 will give me 3.8. And you can see I've identified here, this is my hip line, which is the straight line for the crouch. You can see this is it. on this line here, I'll put out the crouch extension. So for my crouch extension is 3.8. Here we have 3.8 here. This is 3.8. This mark here we have here is 3.8. You can see, and this is my crouch line here. So this is the back crouch extension, which is 3.8. This line I mark here is the front crouch. So now from this line here, I'll come in by 1 inches to get my back crouch. Here I came in by 1 inches. Then I'll come up from my front by 1.25. But when you're working for a plus size, you can use 1.5 or 2 inches. So now this 1.25 I came up here, I will connect it down to my side front here, like this, with a straight line. You can see the way I connect. Now this 1 inches mark we have here, that we came in here, we just mark a straight line like this. Now we have to get the back crouch. So that is the back crouch. Okay, this is my back crouch. Now for the front inseam, I will just mark 1 inches for the front inseam here. 1 inches. I'll mark this to the hem of my trouser. Then I'll cut out. I'm through with the cutting of the back trouser, and you can see how it looks. This is the back. Now we'll keep it that side, so we'll cut out the pockets. I have my pocket pattern, so I've gone ahead to cut out my pockets on another fabric, because the fabric, the direct fabric, is not enough. So I use a Duchess fabric for the pocket, but we'll add a little tweak. I will use the pieces of my trouser to place on the pockets. So now I will remove my pocket pattern. I have a video below on how to draft and cut a short boo-boo gown. There I share on how to get the pocket pattern. Now the next I have to do now is open my pocket this way, and I'll place the pieces of my trouser here on my pocket, the front side of the pocket. The front side of the pocket and the front side of the pieces of my trouser, I'll place it like this. So now I'll go to the machine. I'll be sewing this down. So I will sew on this straight line of the pocket here, the pocket opening. Then on this other side here, I will fold it in this way, so it will be neatly finished. I'm through with the sewing of the pocket. You can see how neatly finished it is. Now I'll bring in the trouser. So now I'll come down from my waist by 1.5 inches. That's where I will start to fix in my pocket. By the time you check, if you put your band up 2 inches, you have 3.5. By the time we sew the band to the trouser on 1/2 inches, we will be left with 3 inches for the depth of our pocket. I'll bring out one of the fronts and I'll place my pocket this way, like this, and I'll go and sew from this 1.5 I came down. That's where I will sew. I'll do this for this side of the trouser, and I will repeat the same thing for the back also, and the other side of my front. I'm through with the sewing of the pockets, the inseam pockets. You can see how it looks. It's not showing that it's not the actual fabric we use for the pocket. After placing the pieces of the main material, you can see how beautiful it looks. And this is the back of my pockets. Now the next we have to do now is to pin your center front at the crouch of your trouser down the way I did mine. Pin the center of your crouch also, so you can join the sides of your trouser. I'll go and join my trouser from 1 inches from the waist here. As I'm joining it, I will continue this way from the pocket round. Then when I get to this side of my pocket also, I'll continue to the hem of the trouser. I'll do this for this side, and I'll repeat the same thing also on the other side of my trouser. I'm through the sewing of my inseam pocket. You can see how neatly finished it is, and I've given it a good press. Now the next we have to do is to sew the cargo pockets. So from my waist here, I will come up by 2 inches for the band, and I will mark 16 inches. That's where I want my cargo pocket to be, 16 inches here. Then now bring the cargo pocket in here. This is my cargo pocket. and I use hemming gum to hem the side so it will be easier for me to sew. Now you make sure you mark your pocket the way I mark mine with the chalk. You fold into two. You know you can launch this pocket. You fold into two. You fold the hem also into two like this, and you mark the center. So now place it this way and fold it in like this. Then you mark where you want your pocket to be like this. Then you fold it down also this way and mark. And you fold your side also again and mark. Okay, so after marking now, you open it this way. You know you've already fold with hemming gum. Now we'll go and sew this down like this all through the pocket. You bring it out, you sew down. I'll do this now and do the same thing also on the other side of my trouser. I'm through with the sewing of the cargo pocket. Now the next we have to do is to cut out the flap that we use to close the pocket. So for my flap, I have this fabric here, the crepe fabric. The width is by 3 inches and the length will be by 8 inches here. Then I'll cut out my stay also. The width of my stay will be by 2.5 inches. Yeah, this is my stay by 2.5 inches and the length is by 7 inches. So now I've gummed the stay on my main fabric. So now I'll go and sew this on 1/2 inches on the sides, the two sides. I'm through with the sewing of the flap. You can see how it is. Now the next we have to do is to sew the strap, that will, the rope that is on the design of this baggy trouser. Now I've cut out my rope. The width of the rope is by 2.5 inches. The length is by 27 inches. Now I'll go to the machine. I'll fold it into two this way and sew down. I'm through with the sewing of the strap, and you can see I close this end. Now I'll use it to turn it to the front. I'm done with the turning and I've given it a good press. You can see how it looks. Now the next we have to do is to place the strap on the flap this way, and I will go and sew on this side, sew the same thing on this other side also, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. I'm through with the sewing of the strap to my flap. Now we'll sew it on the trouser. Now you bring in your trouser, it's either your trouser or skirt, anything you want to put cargo pocket on. Then you place it this way. So now I'll go and sew it on 1/2 inches. After sewing it, I'll flip it to the front this way. I'm through with the sewing of the flap. You can see how it looks. I'm through with the sewing of the flap of the cargo pocket. Now the next you have to do is to tack this down like this. You sew here up to 1 inches, and you repeat the same thing also on this other side. You sew it down up to 1 inches. After doing that, now we trim out this pocket bit. You can see the way I'm trimming. Let me trim it out. You should see. You be careful so you not cut out the main fabric. So after trimming out, now you double stitch on it. You sew it down like this. I'm through with the sewing down. You can see how it is. I've tacked it down. This is how the pocket looks, and you see after trimming this, it looks very neat inside, and this is it outside. I've double stitched it. Now the next we have to do is to join the front and the back together at the crotch. You make sure your center front are together this way. This is the front. I'll go and join from the waist on 1/2 inches down to the crotch here. I will repeat the same thing also on my back. I will join it this way on 1/2 inches down to the crotch here. I'm through with the sewing of the crotch. For the back crotch, you have to sew your back crotch more than one time so it will be firm. I sew like 2 stitch on my back crotch. This is the back crotch. Now the next we have to do after sewing the crotch is to sew the inseam. So you open your crotch this way and you start to sew from the center of your inseam here down to the hem of your trouser like this. After we sew this, we'll do the same thing also on the side of the trouser, on the inseam, on 1/2 inches straight to the hem of the trouser. I'm through with the joining of the inseam. You can see how it looks now. The next we have to do is to measure around the waist. Now you check what you have around your waist from the center front this way. You check. Here we have 12.5. We continue this way, 25.25. Now we check 38. Here we have 51. So now we cut out the strap of 51. This is the strap, my band. The width of my band is by 5 inches and the length will be by 51 inches. So we're having joining for the band here. I'll go and join this side here. Then I'll press it open. After joining that center of my band there, I will now check for the length of my band, which is 51 inches. So now we're having 25.5 inches for the band. So here I'll cut this out from here, then I will join it. To be having joining at the front and at the back of the band. I'm through with the joining and I've pressed this side of my band open. I've pressed the seams open because the joining will be at the front and the back because my material was not enough for the band. Let's assume you want to put a rope because it's elastic we are putting. I'm not putting elastic and rope, just elastic. So if you want to put a rope for this, come here and mark 2.25. You come here also and mark 2.25. So now you'll be sewing from here down to this end here, and you do the same thing also on this other side. Let's assume you want to put a rope on your band, but I don't want to put rope and elastic. I just want to do only elastic. So now for that reason, I will go and open my seams also and press it down. After doing that, I will fold it into 2 this way, and I will press one of my band here on 1/2 inches. This is how it will be. I'm through with the pressing of the band. You can see how it looks. Now the next we have to do, where the joining is, that's where we'll sew. So now bring in the trouser. This is my trouser. So we start from the back. Now let's start from the front. So now I'll pin this down like this, the joining together this way. Go and sew on 1/2 inches. Then the other joining here also will be facing this joining at the back. So now I'll go and sew this down. Then I will tell you what to do next when I'm done sewing it round the waist. I'm through with the joining of the band. Now we'll flip this in this way. You make sure you push this 1/2 inches we sew inside. Then you bring this down like this and we sew on top of it round the waist, leaving 1 inch opening at the back. I'm through with the turning of the band. Now the next we have to do is to cut out the elastic. So I used my hip measurement, which is 38 divided by 4. That will give me 9.5 plus 1/2 inches for joining. That is 10 inches for the elastic. So now I'll pass this with my safety pin inside this way, like this. From this place I create for the passing of the elastic. So now when we get here, we'll pin this down with our pin so that it will not go inside. Yeah, you pin this down, you secure this down like this. Make sure you secure it firmly. Now you continue pushing out your elastic. Okay. So now after pushing out, we're going to sew this on 1/2 inches. I'm through with the securing of the elastic. You can see how I sew it. You make sure you sew it very firm. So by the time you're drawing it, it will not cut or loose. The stitch will not lose. So now we draw this out this way. So now we'll go and secure this down. Close this space back. After closing the space, I will fold the hem of my trouser by 1 inches, half inches like this. Then I'll fold one more time. I'm through the fixing of the elastic and I've gone ahead to fold the hem of my trouser. I drop a video below on the description box on how to sew a cargo pocket. Please do well to watch it, hit the like button, please share this video with your sew friends. Thank you very much. I will see you on the next one. God bless you.